We have no lessons today, and the ministry assessment is not until this afternoon. Some of the younger girls are playing floating rings in the south court. Come on, they are still short of players.
Not today.
Have they added another assessment this afternoon?
No. I am going to visit Magus Harowick.
You have an entirely free morning?
Yes.
And you have decided to spend it voluntarily visiting a teacher?
Those two facts are not contradictory.
They are profoundly contradictory to me. Has something happened?
No.
Then why are you suddenly going to see him?
I have not paid him a proper visit in some time. And I hear he has begun teaching a foundations class again. Once the ministry placement begins, I may not have another chance to ask how he is finding it.
You are actually worried that your teacher cannot manage a group of first years?
I am more concerned that the first years may not keep up with his standards.
That is more plausible.
Would you care to join me?
Spare me. This afternoon I must prove that I am qualified to move crates for the war ministry. I would rather not spend the morning proving to a teacher that I have forgotten half of my manipulation forms.
The Ordnance Transit Office will not have you merely moving crates.
They will also have me register the crates, count the crates, and write 3 reports explaining why the crates did not arrive on time.
It sounds well suited to you.
And you will be posted to some war ministry sport and make everyone there wonder whether they chose the wrong profession.
Nothing has been decided yet.
With you, nothing has been decided usually means the paperwork has not yet caught up with the facts. Give Magus Harowick my regards.
You could give them yourself.
My respect for him has not yet grown strong enough to require personal expression. See you this afternoon. Do not let him keep you for lunch.
Concern yourself with your own assessment.
Come in. Tavian, I had begun to think the War Ministry had already requisitioned you.
Not yet, Magus. I still have several preparations to complete.
So you finally remembered that before leaving the academy, you still owed an old teacher a visit.
I have always remembered. It has merely become difficult to find an hour that does not already belong to the War Ministry.
Sit down. It is not often that an hour still belongs to you. As it happens, there is another student from Orenthal in the Class 3 I teach.
Orenthal is a large district.
Nila, a magistrate-sponsored student. Do you know her?
Not personally.
That is unfortunate. She performed a rather unusual invocation yesterday.
In what respect?
She restored a dying plant to health. The alteration was complete, the results stable, yet the resistance load array produced almost no reading.
Does the Academy regard it as a matter of safety?
Not at present. Her admission papers are in order, and she was extremely cautious in class. The question is not what she did wrong, it is that we cannot yet explain precisely what she did right. Orenthal has produced its share of surprises in recent years. First you, and now Miss Bren. The magistrate responsible for your local sponsorship seems to possess a remarkable eye for talent.
Many people in Orenthal never receive the opportunity for formal assessment.
Which makes the person able to send them here all the more deserving of credit. Given the opportunity, I should like to meet Magistrate Mercer myself.
I am sure he would consider it an honor.
When do you report to the War Ministry?
After the final round of assessments. It should not be long now.
The War Ministry is fortunate to have you.
I shall do my best not to disappoint you.
Do not speak like a graduate just yet. You have not graduated. I was just about to see Chief Fabden. There are several details on which I would value her judgment. If you are in no hurry, you may come with me. I expect she would be pleased to see you.
Of course. You are taking the plant as well?
Of course. It is evidence.
Chief! Chief.
Tavian, it has been a long time since you came to see us.
My apologies, Chief. I have been preparing for my placement with the War Ministry.
I know. The War Ministry has always enjoyed calculating how much work a student can perform before he has even graduated.
At least they have left me enough time to come to see you.
Then they still have some sense. How are you finding the Foundations class?
The children are delightful, and every one of them has talent of some kind.
Spend enough time among the young and you may grow younger yourself.
My knees remain unconvinced.
Why have you brought a potted plant into my office?
A gift for you.
You have suddenly decided to give me a plant?
You do not care for it.
I prefer them a little more natural. It has been altered.
As expected of the chief mage.
Spare me the flattery. Who altered it?
A student in Class 3, Nila Bren.
Your class?
Yes,
Then she has not yet received formal training in invocation.
she has not.
What words did she use?
Let what is weary be granted one more breath.
That was all?
That was all.
How long has it been since the invocation?
A full day and night have passed. In accordance with Dean Holden's recording procedures, I marked the soil condition, the extent of leaf recovery, and the exact time of release. No further alteration was performed.
A full day and night, with no evident regression. For an untrained first year, that is an exceptional invocational response.
That is why I have come to you. In your judgment, what degree of resistance load should an alteration of this scale have imposed upon her?
The whole plant was restored, not merely made to appear upright for a few moments. Collapsed vascular structures reopened, damaged tissues recovered their coordination, and the manifested result has endured for a full day and night. It should not have been effortless for a first year.
She exhibited no identified resistance load.
No symptoms?
No headache, tremor, change in breathing, or disturbance of hearing or vision.
Some children pretend to be unaffected, particularly in front of their classmates.
I considered that possibility. But the resistance load array has no concern for a child's pride.
The inner ring?
Clearly illuminated.
The outer columns?
No respond.
Tavian, since you are here, you need not merely stand there and listen.
Yes, Chief.
A question for you. What is the difference between world resistance and resistance load?
World resistance is the objective return produced when an axiomatic alteration departs from the established structure. Resistance load is the actual burden that return imposes upon the body and mind of a particular caster.
Good. Then which of the two does the resistance load array measure?
Strictly speaking, world resistance.
Precisely. Resistance load array is the name the Academy has used in its documents for many years, but it cannot directly measure the load actually borne by an individual. It measures how much world resistance the alteration generated.
Then the more accurate term would be world resistance gauge array.
Yes. Do not change the heading on the official form just yet. The archive system will not suddenly become intelligent merely because our theory has improved. State clearly in the analysis that it records a world resistance value, not resistance load.
In class, I followed the textbook. I called it the resistance load array and described the brightness of the columns in terms of load.
You did not teach them incorrectly. For most beginners, greater world resistance usually does produce a heavier resistance load. There is nothing wrong with using that relationship as an introduction. Children first require a map they can understand. Their teachers must not remain on the map forever.
Then the textbook category of resistance tolerance must also be divided more precisely.
Exactly. Axiomatic perception, axiomatic contact, and resistance tolerance remain valid as foundational categories. But resistance tolerance places two entirely different questions inside a single term. We need to distinguish between two things here: resistance affinity and load tolerance. Resistance affinity determines how much world resistance a person generates when performing an alteration of equivalent scale and depth. Load tolerance determines how much capacity for action, judgment, and casting remains after that resistance has returned. One concerns the relationship between the alteration and the world. The other concerns the caster's body and mind.
Resistance affinity reduces the cost generated in the first place. Load tolerance allows a person to continue acting while carrying that cost.
Precisely stated. Hussein proved years ago that the textbook's description was insufficiently precise.
His advanced boundary tests.
You remember them?
I was 2 years ahead of him. In those days, after every assessment, he often spent more time disputing the conclusion of the report than he did recovering from the test.
And on that occasion, he was right. Hussein was classified as a manipulation student as well, but ordinary manipulation alters a target. He altered the rule within a boundary. The alteration covered a considerable area and was structurally far more complex than ordinary manipulation, yet the world resistance reading from the array was unreasonably low.
The report classified it as exceptional resistance tolerance.
That was only half correct. Had Hussein merely possessed greater endurance, he could have appeared less affected by the same reading. But endurance cannot make one fewer column illuminate. A low reading meant that his alteration itself generated less world resistance. That was resistance affinity. Later, through prolonged training, he also learnt to continue functioning under genuinely severe load. That was load tolerance.
Yet the Academy continued to record both under resistance tolerance.
I proposed that the terminology be revised. They believed Hussein was merely an exceptionally rare case, and an entire curriculum need not be revised for one individual. A rare fact remains a fact. His later breach of service does not invalidate the measurements made before it. And now we have Nila Bren.
You believe she possesses resistance affinity of the same underlying nature as Hussein?
On the evidence presently available, that is highly probable, but the conclusion requires a qualification. At present, we can confirm only that she exhibits exceptional resistance affinity in invocational alteration. It does not mean that every form of magic she performs will produce the same low reading.
The near-zero reading proves that she generated very little world resistance. But the absence of symptoms does not prove that her load tolerance is equally exceptional.
Precisely. If insufficient world resistance returned to her, then there was insufficient load for her to endure. If no weight has been placed upon a bridge, can we conclude that the bridge is strong?
No. We can conclude only that it has not yet borne a load.
The same is true of Nila. She may possess exceptional load tolerance, or she may simply never have borne a sufficiently measurable load. Until it is assessed independently, that category must remain undetermined.
Then the array proves only the first of her gifts.
Yes. Her second gift is demonstrated by the plant. Tavian, what occurs when an ordinary spell releases axiomatic contact?
Any state dependent upon continued alteration undergoes axiomatic reversion.
Good. A stone suspended by manipulation will fall, folded space will unfold. Naturally, a result already converted into ordinary causation may continue. A stone that has been pushed may continue through inertia, and wood that has been ignited may continue to burn. But this plant was not merely pushed. Tissues that had already deteriorated were re-established, and that restoration has persisted after the invoker released contact. This is one of the most important distinctions between invocation and the common schools of magic. A successful invocation leaves an invocational imprint within the axiomatic stratum, a structure capable of temporarily sustaining itself. After the invoker releases axiomatic contact, the manifested result may continue to exist. That phenomena is called invocational persistence.
The invocational imprint takes the place of the carpster's continuous maintenance.
More precisely, it does not continue casting on the invoker's behalf. It allows the request to form an axiomatic structure that can temporarily sustain itself. The world is not thinking, nor is it favoring anyone. Response is merely the traditional language of invocation. The invocational imprint will still decay in time. Once the original axiomatic structure reasserts itself, the restoration produced by the invocation may begin to recede. In healing supplication, that deterioration is called regression.
A full day and night without regression indicates that she left a remarkably stable invocational imprint.
More than remarkably stable. She used no formal liturgy, possessed no structural training, and did not precisely define the level of restoration requested. She asked only that the plant be granted one more breath, yet the response did not stop at a single leaf, nor did it create a brief illusion of vitality. It restored the entire plant and left behind a coherent imprint that has persisted through a full day and night without regression. That demonstrates an exceptional natural aptitude for the structure of invocation.
Then the array and the plant answer two separate questions.
Exactly. The array tells us how strongly the world resisted her alteration. The plant tells us how completely and how stably her request was established within the axiomatic strat. And the formation of an invocational imprint carries a cost of its own. For an alteration of equal scale and depth, invocation usually generates more world resistance than the 4 schools, because it must also leave an imprint that delays axiomatic reaversion.
The low reading demonstrates resistance affinity.
The prolonged absence of regression demonstrates invocational aptitude. The two reinforce one another, but they are not the same gift.
A poorly structured invocation might generate severe world resistance and still leave behind a result that decays almost immediately.
Correct.
Whereas a coherent invocation combined with exceptional resistant affinity may generate little world resistance overall, even while forming an imprint, and leave behind a more stable result.
It appears the War Ministry has not yet taught you to stop thinking.
I shall endeavor to preserve the habit.
Yesterday I asked where the cost had gone.
It went nowhere. From the scale of the alteration and the formation of the invocational imprint, we inferred a cost that we believed she ought to have paid. But the structure she established was more readily accommodated by the existing axiomatic order than we anticipated. The cost was never generated to the degree we expected in the first place.
That is considerably more plausible than assuming she somehow concealed the cost.
And considerably more dangerous.
Dangerous?
I do not mean that the child herself is dangerous. But when adults see a child perform a miracle without displaying pain, they are easily tempted to demand a greater miracle. Low world resistance does not mean an absence of limits. Undetermined load tolerancy certainly does not mean infinite load tolerancy. She may be retested, but she must not be forced to repeat an alteration of equal scale merely to make the columns illuminate.
I agree.
Continue recording the plant's persistence and any signs of regression. For the next invocational assessment, use a smaller and more standardized subject so that the effects of wording, target condition, and alteration depth can be distinguished. Her load tolerance should be assessed through a separate, progressive test. It cannot be inferred from a near-zero world resistance greeting.
Exceptional invocational aptitude. Exceptional resistance affinity and invocational alteration. Load tolerance undetermined. Is that accurate?
It is. Resistance affinity joined with such invocational aptitude. She is destined to become an extraordinary mage.
It sounds as though the chief has already begun considering her future placement.
Her first year has only just begun. There is no need to assign her to any school yet. Invocation still requires structure, precision, and the judgment to know when to stop. If she wishes to learn those things one day, the School of Manipulation will always have a desk that does not ask where she came from.
Is that an invitation?
Consider it an open door. Whether she walks through it should remain her decision.
That is the 3rd attempt.
I saw it clearly this time.
You said that after the 2nd attempt as well.
This time I mean it. The base illuminated before the block began to rise.
Good. That is an observation.
It remained suspended for 3 breaths again.
The result has been consistent across all 3 attempts.
Does that mean the assignment is finished?
No,
Why not?
because we have not yet recorded the reversion process in full.
The block falling is the reversion process.
That is the result you can see. Magus Harowick instructed us to observe both the manifest change and the axiomatic shift. At the end, the light around the base faded first.
And only then did the block fall.
There was a very brief interval between them, which is why you cannot watch only the block. 4th attempt. Close your eyes.
How am I supposed to observe it with my eyes closed?
Through axiomatic perception.
At present, I still trust my eyes more.
Which is precisely why you require practice.
I felt it.
What did you feel?
When it activated, it felt as though a very fine thread had suddenly been drawn taut. At the end, the thread seemed to loosen first.
That was your perception of the effect ending. It felt different to me. In what way? When it activated, it felt as though an invisible hand had appeared beneath the block. After the light faded, that hand released it.
Axiomatic perception need not feel identical to everyone.
But all we did was press the trigger. None of us made axiomatic contact. How can the block still rise?
Magus Harowick said that the alteration required by an artifact has already been completed in advance.
Pressing the trigger merely satisfies the activation condition already written into it.
So even someone entirely unable to perceive the axiomatic strana could activate it?
Yes, we are using it, not casting the spell on its behalf.
Then who bears the world resistance?
Magus Harowick also said that the more complicated principles of artifacts would be taught later.
So you do not know?
I know that he does not want us guessing carelessly at this stage.
That is remarkably close to not knowing. Does the notice say what they intend to test?
Only invocational response, resistance records, and an individual interview. Individual interview usually means that they do not yet know what they intend to ask.
They may simply want to confirm yesterday's result.
What if the result is different?
Then it will mean that yesterday's conditions and tomorrow's conditions were different.
That almost sounded as though you thought of it yourself.
I have now conducted 4 observations.
Clear these things away.
There is space on this side.
I need to arrange my papers.
There is sufficient space for papers.
I do not intend to place official manuscripts from the Hall of Letters beside an artifact that is being repeatedly activated.
Its operating range is confined to the space directly above the plate. The trigger is currently reset.
We shall be finished soon.
Then finish elsewhere.
This is a public cloister.
Which class are you in?
Foundations Class 3.
The Foundations classes have their own building.
The Hall of Letters has tables of its own. Please remove your document case from my notes.
And if I refuse?
Leave it. We can use another table. Why should we move?
Because changing tables is easier than writing an incident report.
We have broken no rule.
I know.
It is all right.
Nila.
We have nearly finished our observations.
Nila!
Another table will serve just as well.
Nira Brent. A magistrate-sponsored probationary student. I see.
What has that to do with the table?
Nothing. I merely think that a probationary student, at least, should understand that a temporary place must not be mistaken for a permanent right.
We shall leave at once. She does not have to leave.
You may continue speaking for her. Or you may wait until I submit all of your names to the Student Affairs clerk.
And what do you intend to write, that we used a public table?
Obstruction of passage, improper activation of a training artifact in a public area, and discourtesy towards a noble student.
The passage is behind you. The equipment is registered, and its borrowing slip permits use within public study areas. As for the final charge...
I borrowed the equipment. It is registered under my name. If you believe it has been used in an improper location, you may put my name in the report.
Jonas, you need not...
I did borrow it. We shall leave the table clean and cause you no further inconvenience. There is no need to involve her retest.
Are you attempting to negotiate with me?
I am asking you not to combine matters that are unrelated.
You may write your report. Begin by writing the facts in full, Quentin Ravenholt.
Ashburn.
Have Hall of Letters lessons ended so early?
That does not concern you. Then a teaching artifact registered to Class 3 should not concern you either. You know them. We share a class. The passage is unobstructed. The fixed force demonstration plate is registered to Class 3, and its borrowing slip permits its use within public study areas. Its trigger has been reset, and its operating range has not extended beyond the space above the plate. As for the table, the Academy has not registered it under the name of Raven Holt. I merely instructed them to move elsewhere. Why should they be required to obey your instruction? Do you truly intend to argue with me here over a few students of common birth? I am not doing this for them. I simply dislike seeing someone leave the Hall of Letters and immediately assume that he has authority to allocate places within the Foundation's program. Showing no magical response does not mean one lacks the right to attend the Academy. Of course it does not. Nor does it mean that the qualification granted by your family allows you to decide who deserves to sit at a public table.
Since when has an Ashburn took it upon himself to explain qualification on behalf of commoners?
From the moment you attempted to turn your inconvenience into an Academy regulation. Your family has always been very fond of speaking about talent and qualification. People still remember that your family once failed to keep one of its own fires under control. Rumor is not among the facts of today. Should you submit a report, you may state that you first moved a teaching artifact registered to Class 3 without permission. You may also state that you placed your document case upon another student's observation notes. I shall sign as a witness. Do you imagine an Ashburn signature will frighten me? No. But it will ensure that your report does not contain only one nobleman's version of events. I have no time to waste upon such a trivial matter. I hope you learn to choose a more appropriate place next time.
Do you think you will actually file a report?
No.
How do you know?
House Ravenholt will not exchange sealed correspondence with House Ashburn over half a public table.
Are you sure?
A family is a family. A student is a student.
Thank you.
There is no need. I was not helping you.
Then what were you doing?
Preventing someone who has never passed an Axiomatic contact assessment from using his surname as a 5th school of magic. You are to be retested?
Tomorrow morning.
Invocation and resistance?
Yes.
The plant yesterday did not resemble the work of someone who had never encountered invocation.
Magus Harowick did not say that it was improper.
Nor did I say that it was. Did you receive invocational training before entering the academy?
No formal training.
No formal training and never having learned are not the same answer.
I have prayed before. But no one taught me how to perceive axiomatic structure, nor how to make contact with it.
And the words?
They were not formal liturgy.
The Academy may not care only whether it was formal. They will also care where you heard it, whether anyone instructed you, and whether anything was concealed.
The notice says only that she is to be retested.
Because at present they have confirmed only one anomalous result. If a second occurs tomorrow, there will naturally be more questions.
Are you warning her or interrogating her?
Private magical instruction and concealing an instructor would both create greater difficulty than the result of the retest itself. If you truly receive no instruction, then the retest will work in your favor.
Why?
It will prove that yesterday's result belonged to your aptitude, rather than to a technique taught by someone else.
Which would you prefer?
I hope the Academy reaches an accurate conclusion. And do not leave a notice bearing the Academy seal among observation notes for a teaching artifact.
I shall remember.
I still have my notes to organize. You may continue observing the block whose sole talent is floating upwards.
I think we should still be grateful to him.
Nila already thanked him.
That was Nila thanking him. I was occupied with wondering how I would explain everything that had just happened if he truly filed an incident report.
You still gave him your name.
The equipment truly is registered under my name.
That is not the point.
I know. I wish I could be as confident as Bastian.
Bastian stepped forward because he knew the name Ashbourne would hold him up. You did not know that when you stepped forward. They are not the same thing.
And if he truly files a report?
Then let him write the facts. What people like him want most is for us to leave before any record of what happened can exist. I truly wanted to leave. I know. If he had filed a report, I do not know whether the Academy would decide that trouble continually follows me.
But you did not cause the trouble.
Sometimes people see only where the trouble finally comes to rest, which is precisely why we cannot allow it to come to rest upon you every time.
We shall wait outside during the retest tomorrow.
You need not. It may take a long time. We still have an observation assignment. We can observe how long a closed door takes to open again.
I can bring lunch.
Thank you both. Not only for tomorrow, for what you did just now as well.
We were already sitting here.
And our assignment is not yet finished.
Then I shall bring 3 portions of bread. Waiting makes people hungry.
We shall eat after she comes out.
That is what I meant.
All right.
Now, does anyone remember what we were observing?
Whether a noble student ceases applying pressure after encountering resistance.
That is not the axiomatic observation assignment.
The order in which the manifest change and the axiomatic shift appear after the artifact is activated, and the order in which they recede and return to their original state when the effect ends.
Good.